that we've been working on at Careers Wales. It's been something new. It's quite exciting for us, and just want to really just talk you through it and answer any questions and just tell you about the story and the journey that we've been on. So I'll just share my screen. Is that coming through okay?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so just a little bit about Careers Wales for those of you who might not be familiar with us. So we're the National Careers Service for Wales. We're what's called a wholly owned subsidiary of Welsh Government, so basically an arm's length company owned by Welsh Government. We've just launched our new vision, perfectly timed, called Brighter Futures. And what we do is we offer an all-age bilingual careers guidance and coaching service for the people of Wales. The key thing about Careers Wales is what we do is impartial, so it's all very much designed around the needs of the individual rather than potentially the needs of the university or the school or the recruiter. So what we do is design sort of careers guidance and plans that are really designed to meet the needs of our customers. We have around 650 employees. We're based in schools, colleges, high streets and outreach locations around Wales. And like most sort of organisations at the moment, we've been going through a massive programme of digital transformation. We've had to take what was very much a face-to-face delivery service, classrooms, group sessions, group works in community centres and other locations, and put that all online. So looking at things like webinars, podcasts, offering guidance, interviews over Teams and Zoom, developing new applications for the website, new ways of using social media, TikTok, Snapchat, things like that, and also developing implementing a new CRM system. So we've been undergoing a journey that's probably familiar to lots of you, and it's been a really steep learning curve, and one which I think we've really sort of look back and can be quite proud in the way that we've responded. I mentioned Brighter Futures as our sort of strategic vision. Within there, this is an extract from Brighter Futures, where we talk about some of the digital themes that we'll be focusing on. And again, these will be very familiar with you and some of the conversations that you've just been having. From a digital perspective, we're very keen on personalization. So how can we develop, more personalized content for our customers? And how can we use AI and automation to drive that? Gamification, which I'll talk about shortly, and actual gaming itself. So how can we use those techniques to inspire people to learn more about and discover more about different types of careers, and also go on that journey of discovering more about their self, their skills, their interests, their hobbies, and how they might be useful to their careers in the future. We are, like probably again a lot of public sector organisations, a very data-rich company. Some of the insights that we have about the aspirations, the career aspirations of young people are incredibly powerful, incredibly insightful. We don't necessarily make the most of that data. I think we recognise that, but if we can, I think it will provide a really hugely valuable resource for local authorities, for Welsh Government in terms of their policy direction and service design. And we're a customer-led company, so we want to start maximising our omni-channel offer, so opening up new channels all the time to engage with customers, not just as a contact channel, but building those relationships using the technology that people are now using more and more in their everyday lives. So there's some of the key themes that are in the Careers Wales sort of corporate vision, and that's these are sort of my key areas of responsibility. So one of the areas we've been looking at for some time was around gaming, gamification. We work obviously with young people a lot, and recognising that the techniques that you see in gaming, the problem solving, the teamwork, are not just like really important skills, but are really useful ways of engaging young people and getting them to start thinking about different careers. How can we get young people to think about careers of the future? How can we get them to go on that journey of recognising their strengths, their weaknesses, their skills, their interests? And in October 2019, which seems like a lifetime ago, Welsh Government announced that it was making Minecraft Education Edition available through the Hub platform for all learners in Wales. So just a quick journey on Minecraft. So those of you with young children, I'm sure, will be familiar with Minecraft on the consoles, on the Xboxes. It's the world's most popular game. It involves, it's unlike any other game in the sense that there are no levels or key objectives to complete. It's very much about people's individual journeys and self-discovery to build and create and explore different worlds that really stems from their own imagination. They can team up with friends and co-create worlds and different structures, and it's really a free play open platform game. It was purchased by Microsoft in around 2014, 2015. Microsoft obviously recognized the potential of Minecraft as a platform, and then developed an education version that they've been rolling out to schools, mostly in the US, but Wales has been very forward thinking on this and decided that they were going to make it available to all young people in all schools. We were on that journey of looking at what sort of gaming platforms we might be able to use to get younger people thinking about careers at a much younger age. So we had this sort of perfect match of starting to develop resources using Minecraft. We went out and did a lot of user research with young people, with parents, with teachers. And again, this will be very familiar to those of you with 9 to 13-year-olds. Fortnite and Minecraft were the dominant games, the platforms that children were using the most at home. Schools in Wales have become more and more aware of Minecraft Education Edition as a resource, but weren't that confident or weren't that sure on how to use it. They were looking for more resources and more guidance. An important bit of research from teachers. Teachers don't want finished products. They don't want Careers Wales to come along and give them a fait accompli, a set of PDFs and say, go off and deliver that. Teachers want to be able to have that flexibility and adaptability in their lessons, to adapt what they're doing to the class that they're teaching or the environment that they're in. So very important that we don't give teachers a sort of finished product. And I think that's perhaps a lesson we can think about, particularly in engaging wider with the public as well. And Microsoft have been rolling out Minecraft Education Edition Schools of Excellence around Wales. So pretty much all of you with children at schools in Wales, the teachers in those schools will have been invited at some point to Microsoft Minecraft training sessions, and more teachers are now starting to do that. There's a really active program ongoing at the moment where they're giving certification in Minecraft for teachers. Our vision with CareersCraft was quite straightforward, really, to broaden the horizons of young people aged 10 to 13, engaging them in a series of career-related tasks and activities, linking job skills and the curriculum, the new curriculum in Wales, to Welsh landmarks and heritage. A very clear vision for us. We were quite clear on what we wanted to achieve. Some interesting research around sort of 10 to 13-year-olds. Careers Wales, in its most traditional sense, will come in at those sort of key transition points you'll probably all be familiar with from your time in school. So options, school leaving, and those sort of key points around where you make sort of big decisions about your next steps. That's where Careers Wales traditionally steps in and provides people with that impartial advice. But there's a lot of evidence that younger people start to form, they start to narrow their horizons at much younger ages than previously thought, particularly in some areas of deprivation, and particularly at younger ages. Things like gender stereotyping, for instance, becomes very endemic at an early age. There's been lots of studies and research around that shows, as you can imagine, boys will traditionally lend themselves to forces or services type roles. Young girls will look at the kind of more caring professions. And those kind of perception stereotypes are ingrained at a very, very young age. You think of imagine putting a dressing up box in front of a classroom of 5 and 6 year olds and telling them to go and pick a costume. And every time this kind of activity is done, the boys will get a police helmet or something along that line. Girls will tend to go for perhaps the more caring professions. And these kinds of research, show that young people form opinions about their futures at a very, very young age. And that's something at Careers Wales we're keen to support and make sure people are not sort of closing down their options at young ages, that they have broad horizons and they can start thinking about increasing their ambitions and their plans for the future. So back to CareersCraft, what we decided to do was to build 6 sort of key famous Welsh landmarks from around Wales, and we linked, each one of those was linked to an area of learning in the new curriculum. So in Wales, there's a new curriculum launching. It's designed around 6 areas of learning: expressive arts, health and well-being, humanities, languages, literacy and communication, maths and science and technology. So we picked 6 landmarks that we thought would fit nicely in with each of those areas of learning. And we worked with a company called Blockworks, who, if you do get a chance to have a look at their website later, I thoroughly recommend it. What they do is they're an international community of Minecraft builders. What they build is absolutely off the scale. It is incredible, the amount of detail and attention to every sort of nuance of a building. It's really incredible stuff. It's well worth a look. But it took several months of research and building for them to create these 6 landmarks in Wales on a 1-to-1 scale. And I'll just run through some of those now. The Senedd, which you'll be familiar with, the Welsh Parliament, obviously a hive of activity at the moment following the election a couple of weeks ago. We built what we see as a workplace of the future. We call that the Museum of Me. And in here, there's space for young people to create their own landmarks, to do their own sort of activities, to record their journey through CareersCraft. The Cardiff Coal Exchange, the site of the first £1 million cheque. So obviously very linked to Welsh heritage and Welsh culture. That's another theme of the curriculum in Wales. There's a word called Cynefin, which refers to Welsh heritage and Welsh culture. And that's something that Welsh Government has said is very keen to feature in the Welsh curriculum. And by using these landmarks, we're helping young people to discover more about the Welsh heritage, Welsh history, and discover more about the nation. The Millennium Centre, this is linked to expressive arts, the National Theatre for Wales. Again, a very iconic sort of structure and familiar to all. And you can see a shot of inside it there. And we've also got landmarks, Carnarvon Castle, the Big Pit in Blaenavon, and Tenby, which I'll show you shortly. So we took CareersCraft on the road in December. We visited a couple of schools for a socially distanced launch. And it was great just to see the smile and the excitement of the kids, having a lesson outdoors, playing on a giant screen, playing on Minecraft. But actually, as they're doing that, learning more about themselves, learning more about different careers that might be available to them in the future. Our next steps, we're looking at introducing some Minecraft characters that are based on sort of famous, inspirational role models from Welsh history. Looking at some ideas here, we've got Betty Campbell, very prominent in Black History Month and the teaching of Black history and Black culture in Wales. Tanni Grey-Thompson, our most successful Paralympian, and Dame Shirley Bassey, who again you'll all be familiar with. But we're looking at how we can build, more of these characters into the game and get young people, as they're exploring to discover that, inspirational people, find out more about them, and hopefully themselves be inspired by the stories that they've discovered. So we launched Minecraft Education Edition in December, and then we decided that what we wanted to do was to put it on the global sort of Minecraft platform, the console version that, again, many of you will be familiar with, that your children are playing on a day-to-day basis at home and in their bedrooms. So we worked really hard to get a version that was ready for Minecraft Education Edition, and we launched it in end of April, and we've had so far over 1 million downloads. So absolutely mind-blowing figures. I put it on there really just to reassure myself that that was actually what's happened. But yeah, over 1 million downloads, absolutely incredible response, which has just sort of blown our minds really on the amount of people who've been interested, who've been exploring, and really, away from the CareersCraft original sort of objective, actually finding out about exploring some key Welsh landmarks, finding out about Welsh culture, all around the world. Some sort of key lessons. Obviously, the engagement with the teachers and the schools has been crucial in developing this. Nobody wants a fait accompli. Nobody wants to be given something that they haven't been involved with. So that was a really important part, that research at the start. A key lesson that's been applicable throughout my career certainly is to go where the eyes are. Even going back to the days in local government and early days of social media adoption. The time that local government and public services were spent trying to either recreate some form of social platform for people to engage with, when really all we needed to do was really get a good grip on an understanding of how the social media platforms like Facebook and things work. Innovation with purpose is always a key mantra. It's great to have some good ideas, but if we hadn't had it rooted in the development of the new curriculum, then that would have been, it wouldn't have been so successful. And making careers education and make learning fun, I think, is obviously another key factor. The most rewarding thing we've done so far has been when we've launched it in the schools, and just to see the young people's faces when they see Tenby on a giant screen and they're able to play and interact and explore, you know, the landmark that's really familiar with them, and just, you know, just bringing that fun element into learning. I'm going to show you now a couple of clips, so it's better, obviously always better to do the show and not telling. So here's a shot of the Millennium Centre. So as you can see, you know, the scale of it is massive. The detail is incredible. They travel around the key landmarks on a mine cart. And hopefully this is not too grainy footage, but you can see the scale. You know, this is one-to-one brickwork, done, you know, exactly to scale at the Millennium Centre. So the activity that they do in here this is about creative arts, creative industries linked to the expressive arts curriculum. But the idea here is to explain to young people the breadth of roles that go into production, not just, you know, what they see on the stage, but everything that goes on behind the scenes. So hidden around the Millennium Centre are different roles linked to the creative industries. So here we've got Gabriella, who's a set designer. We'll go further. I think the next person is Lauren down here, who is a script writer. So again, it's just trying to show young people that, you know, there are a whole host of different careers, different skills needed that we can have in the creative industries. It's a priority sector in Wales. And as we just go through, you know, Amy's a location manager, really, obviously, you know, really key part in any sort of creative production in Wales. Zach is an editor, software editor. And as we come back across the stage, we have Jake, who's a camera operator. And then within the game, we've got links embedded into the Careers Wales site, where we have obviously lots of more information about these different types of roles, different jobs information, the courses people might want to do, the skills needed, the links to lessons. So just drop back a bit. I'll show you Tenby for those who are familiar. I saw there was a colleague, I don't know if he's still on, having from Carmarthenshire. So we are visiting Carmarthenshire next week. Oh, this looks a bit like a code exchange. So while this isn't the scale, because over to the right there you can see Carnarvon Castle, and obviously Tenby at the sort of opposite end of the country there, really. But obviously those who know Tenby, you know, absolutely iconic townhouse scene and the harbour. So all built to scale. And this is linked to the health and well-being element of the curriculum. And here the players, the users, will go on a kind of self-discovery quiz, which looks at their strengths and weaknesses, going through a kind of minecart roller coaster sort of journey. So they go down here onto, I think this is South Beach. And again, they'll meet a series of characters, and it asks them all, you know, the kind of thing, sort of very basic element of sort of psychometric testing, but gets them thinking about what type of character they are, how they like to work, how they like to, what the sort of strengths and weaknesses may be. So just quickly, briefly, just show you Big Pit in Blaenavon as well. So that's our National Museum, mining museum. staple of school trips for people in Wales over the years. I'll just move forward a little bit so we can get here. So Big Pit is a mining museum, but we've linked this to science and technology. And the challenge here is that the players have to dig down underground. There's been a tunnel collapse. And for those of you who are familiar with Minecraft, if there's one thing better than building things on Minecraft, it's actually breaking them up. So they have to dig down beneath the ground. And you'll see now as they go. And what they do is once they get to the bottom of the mine shaft, they have to rescue two, or they have to go and find two workers down there. And those workers will be characters who work in sort of key priority sector industries for Wales. So how do you get young people finding out about the possibility of careers in data or data scientists? How do you get them to learn more about the growing semiconductor industry around Wales? Well, we've done it in Minecraft, and shortly you'll see how we've done that. So the other thing that we found, which has been really great, is obviously, again, another key part of Minecraft isn't necessarily about what we're doing, but what other people are doing with it. So since launching a sort of global launch in April, we've started to see more and more of the kind of self-generated YouTube videos appearing on Minecraft. So
nicely designed.
yeah, young people are filming themselves playing it, posting it on YouTube, talking about the game, talking about different features that they like.
What is this?
And this is happening all around the world now. And as you can hear, some pregnant pauses now while they try and pronounce some of the Welsh place names.
Carnarvon?
Not bad, not bad. But that's been really rewarding for us, just to see that people are actually, you know, using that. We've had people playing it in Spain and in Spanish and various different languages as well. So that's been a sort of really positive thing to see as well. So that's our Minecraft journey.